Good morning, everybody. Let me first thank Shri Ram Madhav ji and Major General Kathoch of the India Foundation for giving me this privilege of being with most distinguished excellencies, ambassadors of various nations of the world. I had the privilege of meeting many of you at number of occasions in my ministry and at number of other functions also, because I can recognize many of the faces that I see on the screen now. So it's a matter of privilege that way, but unfortunately we are meeting at a time when we all, in fact the whole of humanity, the whole of the world is facing an unprecedented crisis. A small virus has become so important that the whole world is disturbed. Every day in the morning I start my day with prayers to the God, the Almighty, for not only the health of Indians, but for every human being across the globe. I know that for the last over 3 months now, the whole world is struggling very hard to combat the attack of the virus. Everybody has been putting their heart and soul into this fight. We are using all our might, all the backing of science, technology, epidemiology, and the knowledge and experience gained by us over the years and over the decades for fighting all these new viruses and bacterias. Fortunately, our record in the past has not been bad. We all know that this world together could defeat once for all the smallpox virus. And today this whole world is a place where one disease has been thoroughly eradicated in the 70s. Similarly, we had millions of children all across the globe who, because of the attack of the poliomyelitis virus, used to get handicapped, and their parents used to suffer all their life. And the whole world together started fighting this virus when we had a resolution in the World Health Assembly in 1988 to eradicate poliomyelitis also. I was fortunate to have the blessings of God in 1993 to be blessed with a dream to work for a polio-free India. And during the last 25 years, I had a lot of opportunity to work for polio-free India and a polio-free Southeast Asia also through the World Health Organization. We all know that living apart only a very few countries, the whole world is now also polio-free, and very soon, in the next few years, we will have certification from WHO for the whole world also. So when we work together, when we put forward our combined might, we can win over a virus also. Smallpox and poliomyelitis are examples of a fight like this. I am very hopeful that in spite of the fact that we have had a lot of people who lost their lives in COVID-19, hundreds and thousands, and right now at least over 1 million have got affected by the virus. But the good thing is that 80% of the people recover quite well. The mortality is not too high, but for a family who loses one person because of a disease, for them the mortality rate is 100%. So that gives all of us enough grief. We know that we have had some of the great important personalities all over the world who also got unfortunately infected with the virus. So we all start our day with prayers for elimination of this virus, or at least be able to encounter its virulence for the time being. As far as India is concerned, let me apprise all of you, since all of you live in Delhi itself, you, I know, must be following everything right from the beginning, and not much that I will share with you may be new news for you. But even then, I would like to briefly summarize that in India, when China had informed the World Health Organization about the new coronavirus on 7th of January, we in India and in our health ministry had in fact organized a meeting of all our experts, including people from WHO, where we discussed the probable things that could happen not only to India but to the whole world. And in the next couple of days, we started imagining and also started our health preparedness for the whole nation. Next week, on 17th of January, we issued detailed health preparedness guidelines to all the states in the country. We started our community health surveillance activities all over the country. We also issued detailed travel advisories to passengers traveling by air, and the very next day, on 18th of January, we started screening all our international passengers coming from China and Hong Kong, etc., at 7 major airports. This process, which we started on 18th January, ultimately in March, from time to time we kept improving our advisories, kept involving more airports, and in March, ultimately, we decided, when we were in fact screening all the 30 international airports, that we will not allow any international flight or international passenger to enter India. That's a long story of those 2 months, but I would not like to get into the details of that. You are all familiar with that. Similarly, at the national level, starting from the Prime Minister to the Cabinet Secretary to the Health Minister, who headed a group of ministers formed by the Prime Minister with other ministers, all related ministers, the Health Secretary, we started monitoring everything in the country at the national level and ensured that almost every day we were talking to the state health ministers and the state health officials. All this continued because we had our first case towards the end of January. That was probably, I think, on 1st of Feb. All these months we were acting proactively and well in advance after anticipating the things that could happen. Fortunately, we had also the experience of many other countries which were at the peak of their trouble during those periods. Right now, I can tell you that in India, the present situation is such that in about over 400 districts of the country, we do not have any COVID-19 case. And there are 133 districts which we have called as hotspots, where we have cases of COVID-19 in different numbers. That also we have divided into two categories, where there are more than 15 cases or where there are less than 15 cases. And we are already having an effective containment strategies for these clusters and these districts where all these cases have occurred. I may inform you that right from the very beginning, you see, the fight against polio and other viruses helped India to develop a very robust integrated disease surveillance program for the whole country. Even today, almost 7 lakh people, mostly passengers who traveled to India during the last few months, they are all under community surveillance. Our surveillance officers and rapid response teams in the field all over the country are keeping a watch on them, keeping in touch with them, advising them on day-to-day basis. Similarly, when we banned all the international flights in the last 3 days, that was on 21st and 22nd and 23rd of March, we had 64,000 passengers, Indians and others, who came back to India. All these 64,000 passengers, about 56,000 of them were advised to be in home quarantine, and 8,000 of them were kept in institutional quarantine. As I had mentioned earlier, we screened almost every passenger at different times according to our advisories, starting from 18th January. And till the time we banned all the flights, we had screened passengers from over 15,000 flights in the country and screened over 1.5 million people. Similarly, we had also screened people at all our seaports, a dozen of them being major seaports and about 65 of them being non-major seaports. There also we screened about 47,000 passengers. Also, when we had the first report of a first case in Nepal, we started screening all our borders with Nepal in all the neighboring states, and there also we screened more than 2 million people crossing the borders, and also organized over 5,000 Gram Sabhas in the neighboring villages of those borders. In fact, all through we ensured that whatever is possible, it must be done. During the course of these last 2 months, we ensured that we have adequate testing facilities in the country for coronavirus. We started with our one lab, which is the basic lab in Pune, that is the National Institute of Virology. And today we have developed a network of over 200 labs all over the country which are having the ability to test the coronavirus. Over 150 of them are public labs supported by the government, and the rest of them are also the nationally NABL accredited labs with 16,000 collection centers all over the country. We have tested over 1,30,000 people who had symptoms, and there is a well-defined, scientifically validated by experts criteria of who needs to be tested, who are being tested at all these laboratories all over the country. We have also made adequate preparations for the capacity building. We started with training of all possible staff, whether it was the airlines staff, whether it was the airlines crew, whether it was the immigration officials, airport people, surveillance officers, rapid response teams, disaster management teams, our grassroots health workers. We did a massive, robust training of all the people all over the country through all possible means, and ensured that everybody is, it's not only the medical professionals, but everybody else is well prepared to handle the crisis. Even now, when we have the least number of affected cases in the whole world, that is about 3.4 patients per million population, we have still made adequate preparations. I am pretty confident that we will not face the crisis of that unprecedented nature in the future. But God forbid, if something severe and extremely unfortunate happens in India, we have made our preparations for the worst also. Few hundred, over 500 exclusively dedicated hospitals for COVID, over 2 lakh beds exclusively dedicated right now for COVID in other hospitals. Preparations in the private sector also, over 50,000 ICU beds, exclusively dedicated ventilators, and also we have ordered for everything in plenty for future times, whether it is the PPEs, whether it is the N95 masks, or whether it is the ventilators. You all know that the Prime Minister has been leading from the front. He has been monitoring everything, and he gave a call to the nation for a Janta curfew on 22nd of March, which was extremely successful. We followed it up with a lockdown. And today we are in the third week of the lockdown. There is significantly successful support to the lockdown. Our scientists in the Science and Technology Ministry, CSIR, and also biotechnology. These are the departments which I head apart from health. They have also started working on vaccines, and the new startups are being encouraged to find out the solutions for COVID-19 in different forms. India is one of the countries which has isolated the virus, and we are part of the WHO Solidarity Trial. I am in touch with the regional office of WHO almost regularly, and also with the WHO headquarters. In the last couple of days, I participated in video conferences with health ministers of the whole world, and of course also the Southeast Asia and Asian region, with the help of the World Health Organization. Till the time the whole world is able to find out a vaccine which is going to help all of us individually, we don't know how much time it will take. Although there are 40 candidates working on it, but only 2 have reached the very early stages of clinical trial. But we are wishing that very soon the world should have a vaccine for COVID-19. But I have been saying it time and again that for the whole world, right now, social distancing and probably the lockdown, these two together remain the most potent social vaccines. And the whole world has to continuously propagate the value of these together. And if the importance of social distancing comes from top leaders, it is elaborated, it is talked about by people all over the world. They are already doing it. But I think that's the only way right now to save the people of the whole world. Our Prime Minister has been in touch with most of the global leaders. He organized a meeting of the SAARC nations. He initiated efforts to create a SAARC emergency COVID fund and started by contributing for that fund also. We have taken all possible measures. We know in all this lockdown, many patients were likely to suffer. So we have in the recent past institutionalized mechanisms for promoting telemedicine in a big way, for promoting digital prescriptions, for looking after the mental health of the people, for ensuring that all those who are treating, all the doctors who are treating COVID patients in the whole country, they have access to advice from the very able specialists at the All India Institute of Medical Sciences. So we have a telecontact system, and we are ensuring that even the poorest of the poor, the migrant people and those who are likely to suffer, the Prime Minister, with the help of the Finance Ministry, has already declared a huge package of 1,70,000 crores for the poorest of the poor. Even for the health sector, he has declared a huge 15,000 crores package to ensure that we strengthen our total network. We have been using all possible means to communicate to the people of India all our risk communication strategies through helplines where lakhs of people visit, through the caller tune in the telephones, which all of you must have heard, to ensure that even the most illiterate, they are educated about the basic precautions that they need to tell. Our website in the Health Ministry is very thoroughly and very comprehensively backed with all possible information for all sections of the society, including experts, with all guidelines. And right now it is being visited by over 22 crore people in the country. And we have been trying to fight out the challenge of wrong communication or fake news, etc., which are also to some extent spoiling the atmosphere for handling COVID in a positive manner, not only in India, but for the whole country. I think I can continue to talk about what we have been able to do. There are lots of details about that, but I feel happy in informing our ambassadors that we were able to bring back over 2,500 people from China, Japan, Italy and Iran during the peak of the crisis. And there also we brought back 48 foreign nationals also. In the initial stages, we know that some 14, 15, our dear Italians got the illness in Agra. We immediately brought them to Delhi and we got them admitted to one of our prime hospitals, Medanta in New Delhi, where they were being treated by the best physicians. I used to talk to the doctors almost every second day, and on Holi, I spoke to some of them on the video call also. 13 out of them got discharged after having been taken care of. Unfortunately, we lost one very senior, very old patient for whom the doctors tried a lot with all possible aid and support systems. Whatever best we could do, we have been able to do, we are doing, and we look forward to continuous sharing of experience, support, whatever support we were able to extend to the other countries in whatever form it was asked for. We have tried to extend that, including the recent issue about some of the drugs and pharmaceuticals. So I would use this moment to thank all the countries all across the globe. Through you, Honorable Excellencies, and I want to convey the good wishes of all Indians, for all people all across the world. We wish that everyone should come out of this crisis as soon as possible, and we pray for the peace of the souls of all those people who left for heavenly abode because of COVID-19. I think I would like to stop here because I know the limitations of time. Maybe I have taken much more than what was expected of me. I look forward to your suggestions and your blessings on this occasion. Thank you so much.